So you'd like to know another 50 comics worth $100 guaranteed? Watch the video and you'll find out. Hey everybody, welcome to Comics with Bueller. As always, I'm Bueller. Today we're continuing the series 50 comics guaranteed to be worth $100 or more. There's a lot of reasons why they're worth $100 and we're going to tell you. If you're new to our channel, do me a favor, subscribe right now. It does help us out quite a bit, and also turn on that notification button because you don't want to miss the next video. There's a lot of research that goes into this list, so let's go ahead and run down the criteria. First off, these are sold prices between $100 and $199. We look for the highest grade possible, but as you guys know, condition does vary and we do the best we can. We look at recently sold prices through multiple sources, including eBay, comic shops, auctions, and more. These are also raw copies of the book, and they're in no particular order. And just a side note, this video is meant to be fun. It's not for investment purposes. We don't have a link down below where you can click on it and go buy these books. So just sit back and enjoy. I also want to let everyone know this is an interactive video. We'd like to hear from you. How many of these books do you have in your collection? Do you have 0? Do you have all 50? Believe it or not, somebody did on one of our other videos, had all 50 books. And that was pretty amazing. I'll also let you guys know how many of these books I have in my collection. I did not do well this time, but I'll let you know what that is at the end of the video. Like I said, this is an interactive video. Please let us know how many of these books you have in the comments down below. We're also keeping a running tally of all 50 of the books, so if by chance you do have all 50 books, we'll tell you exactly how much money you have in your pocket. Alright everybody, let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and look at the very first book. Very first book up on our list is Spider-Man Noir #1. Very fine near mint copies of this are selling for like $199. The reason why, it's the first appearance of Spider-Man Noir. But wait a minute, you might remember me putting this book on a different list, the $50 guaranteed. This book has gone up in price quite a bit, and it's still going up today, and it made the list yet again. We also have some other books on the list that were on the previous list that are going up in value, and we'll hit those first. Because next one up on our list is Thor God of Thunder #6. High grade copies of this are selling for $135. This is a cameo of Noel. This one was down to $80 on a list before, and it's going up and up. Another one that was on our $50 list is Venom #3. Near mint copies of this are now up to $175 just in a short 1 month time. This is the first full appearance of Noel apparently, so if you have this book, side note, this is one of the ones I have. This one is worth $175. Not too bad. Next one on the list is Teen Titans #12. Near mint copies of this are selling for $132. This is the first appearance of Batman Who Laughs. This one was also on the list for $50 or more, and I think it was around $80 back then, so it's gone up over $50. Next one is The Boys, another one that was on the $50 list. #1 near mint copies of this are now selling for $130. The popularity of the TV show and season 2 right around the corner is making this book spike. Next one we have is Star Wars #42. Very fine and near mint copies of this are selling for $160. The reason why, it's the very first appearance of Boba Fett, and of course we got the Mandalorian TV show to thank for that. Next one we have Captain America #241. Very fine copies of this one is selling for $100. This is a great looking book, and this is a fight between Captain America and the Punisher, two of my favorite characters going at it. SAGA #1, very fine near mint copies of this are selling for $190. First print, make sure it is the first print because they did multiple ones of this book, but the first print is the one you want. Moving on is Alf #48. Very fine copies of Alf are selling for $199, and that's because this cover is a little controversial. You can see Alf having his way with a seal. Who's going to complain about that? Next one up, we have The Walking Dead #19. Very fine near mint copies of this are selling for about $132. This is the very first appearance of Michonne, one of the fan favorites for The Walking Dead. Next one on our list is Amazing Spider-Man #361. Very fine near mint copies of this are selling for around $160. This of course is the first appearance of Carnage, and really I think this book is undervalued, so if you can pick it up for that price, I think it's a pretty decent investment. Moving on, we have New Gods #1. High grade copies of this are only selling for $170. Another one I think is undervalued. This is the first appearance of Orion. Not too familiar with that character, but New Gods #1 by by Jack Kirby, if I'm not mistaken. Looks fantastic. Next one we have is Spawn, number 174. Near mint copies of this are selling for $140. This is the first appearance of the Gunslinger, very popular character in the Spawn world. And then the next book is Spawn, number 175. Near mint copies of this are selling for $110. It's the second appearance of Gunslinger. Both the first and second appearance are both selling for over $100. I think that's pretty cool. Next one on our list is G.I.JOE number 155. Near mint copies of this are selling for about $125. This is the very final issue of G.I.JOE, Real American Hero, and it was a very low print as well. So if you have this in your collection, you got a little bit of money. Next one on our list is Avenging Spider-Man number 9. Near mint copies of this are selling for $120. Apparently this is the first appearance of Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel. I didn't know that. I thought she appeared as Captain Marvel a long time ago, but you learn something new every day. Next one we have is Amazing Spider-Man number 252. Very fine and near mint copies of this are selling for $120. This is the first appearance of the black suit, I believe, in the Amazing Spider-Man book itself. This is a tie with the team up ones. You know, the whole thing with the black suit is a little confusing. Whatever they say kind of goes. I really don't know. But this one's worth $120 if you have it in your collection. Next one is Sandman number 1. Near mint copies of this are selling for about $180. Make sure this is also a first print copy of this book. Just look inside, you'll figure it out. Moving on, we have Batman Beyond number 1. Very fine near mint copies of this are selling for about $112. This is the first appearance of Terry McGinnis. So you got a first appearance in that book, and you got over $100. Next one is What If number 10. Very fine copies of this are selling for $115. This was the What If Jane Foster became Thor, and now look what they're doing with that. Sometimes it just comes back around, right? $115 for this book, not a bad deal. We got some newer books on the list as well. We have Negan Lives number 1. Near mint copies of this are selling for, wow, $150. But it has to be the gold one with the gold lettering, the shiny gold goodness, and it's $150. That's kind of crazy, to be honest. Moving up, we have Thor number 5, another brand new book. Near mint copies of this are selling for $199. This is the 1 in 20 or 25 incentive. First full appearance of the Black Winter. I think that's the Black Winter. I don't know. It looks just kind of like Thor in black and white. But you know what? It's selling for almost $200. That's kind of crazy. We have another new book. We have Joker 80th Anniversary number 1. Near mint copies of this one are selling for $120, but you have to make sure it's the Art Germ Joker Harley Punchline Virgin variant. That's the one that's fetching the $120 price tag. Moving on, we have Thor number 225. Very fine and near mint copies of this book are selling for about $140. We have a first appearance, and this is the first appearance of Firelord in Thor number 225. Moving up, we have Eternals number 1. Near mint copies of this are selling for $120. This is the first appearance of the Eternals. And of course, you know they're making a movie about this, so I think this book is going to go up quite a bit. So if you can get it now for a really cheap price, you should probably go for it. All right, everybody, we're halfway through the list so far. How are you doing? Do you have any of the 25 books that we listed? Make sure you leave the comments down below at the end of the video. And like I said before, I'll share with you how many I have. Like I said, it's not great. All right, let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and get to number 26. Number 26 is Green Lantern number 59. Very fine copies of this are selling for $120. Another first appearance of Guy Gardner, Green Lantern number 59. Moving up, we have Fantastic Four Annual number 6. Very good copies of this are selling for around $190. And this is the first appearance of Annihilus. Venom First Host number 3, second print near mint, is going for $130. Sleeper is on the cover, and I believe this is the first appearance of Sleeper in general or just on the cover. I'm not 100% sure, but let it be known that this book is selling for $130. Moving up one spot, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 3. Very fine copies of this are selling for $155. Make sure this one also is a first print, because that's the one you're going to want to have. Next book up is Strange Tales number 169. Fine copies of this are selling for $160. This is the first appearance of Brother Voodoo. This book has kind of been going up and down. I remember when this book was only about $40 just about a year and a half ago, and I've seen it as high as $300, so it's kind of settled somewhere in the middle. So if you want to get on it now, it might be a good time. Next one on our list is Forever People #1. Very fine copies of this are selling for $130. This is the first appearance of Darkseid, and you know what? I think this one is another book that's undervalued. There's a lot of older DC books that I think fall in that category. Next one up is Harbinger #1. Very fine near mint copies of this sell for about $125. Make sure it has the coupon inside, I believe, and this is the first appearance of the Harbinger. Not too familiar with this book, but it is selling for $125. Next one, we have Marvel Spotlight #32. Very fine copies of this are selling for $120. This is the first appearance of Spider-Woman. I'm pretty sure it is. I might be wrong. Sometimes I make mistakes, but I feel pretty good about this one. But $120 will get you that first appearance. Not a bad deal. Moving up, we have DC Comics Presents #47. Near mint copies of this are selling for $103. This one's pretty cool because it's the first appearance of He-Man and Skeletor in DC Comics, or maybe in comics in general. But you know what? I've always been a fan of the Masters of the Universe, and here you go, He-Man and Skeletor, worth $103. Moving up, we have Marvel Premiere Warlock #1. Very fine copies of this are selling for $160. This is the first appearance of him as Adam Warlock. Him has made a first appearance before, but this is the first one as actually Adam Warlock. $160. Moving up, we have Tales of Suspense #59. Fine copies of this is selling for $170. The first appearance of Jarvis. Kind of cool, Jarvis. Zatanna #16. High grade copies of this are selling for $115. This is the Adam Hughes cover that's fetching that price. Beautiful book, a beautiful lady. Moving up, we have Venom #25. Near mint copies of this are selling for $170. You're like, what? That doesn't make sense. But this is the 1 in 200 Zapoza cover. I missed out on the regular cover like this. I wish I would have picked it up, but I'm not going to get this one because it's way too much money at $170. Wolverine #1. Near mint copies of this are selling for $150, but this is the C2E2 John Tyler Christopher cover, exclusive to C2E2, and this one is fetching quite a bit because honestly this was the last real Comic-Con we had this year, and I think this one might actually stick to that $150 price tag for quite some time. Next one we have is Batman #635. Near mint copies of this are selling for about $120. This is the first appearance of Jason Todd as Red Hood. Not bad. Jason Todd's been around a while, but if you want to get a Red Hood appearance or the first appearance, this is the one to get. All right, everybody, so that's 40 books. We got 10 more to go. How's it going? Do you have any of these so far? I think I've had one, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Let's go ahead and go to 41. Avengers #87. High grade copies of this are selling for right there at $100. This is the origin of the Black Panther. Kind of a great thing to learn about the history of Black Panther, and Avengers '87 is the one you'd want. Ultimate Fallout #4. Near mint copies of this are selling for $125. That seems a little low, you're saying, but this is the second print of the book that's fetching that amount. The first print of this book is going through the roof right now, and you know what? If I had a copy, I'd probably sell it, but I don't have a copy, so I'm not going to worry about it. Next one up is Marvel Age #12, and I was very surprised about this one. Near mint copies of this are selling for right at $100. This is the preview of the Alien, Spider-Man, Venom suit, whatever you want, the symbiote, all that good stuff. I had no idea that this one was selling for $100, but sure enough, I saw a copy that have sold for that much this month. You learn something new. Next one up is Submariner #5. Fine copies of this are selling for about $102. This is the very first appearance of Tiger Shark. Very cool character. Wouldn't mind adding this book to my collection. X-Men #109 is next up on the list. High grade copies of this are selling for $110. And this is the first appearance of the Vindicator. Very cool character. I think he has something to do with Alpha Flight, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Next one, we have G.I. Joe #1. We had the last issue, now we have the first issue. Near mint copies of this are selling for $120, but make sure it's the first print and the newsstand version. That's the one that's fetching the $120 price tag, so make sure that's the one you got. Moving on, we have Marvel Superheroes #20. Very fine copies of this are selling for $120. This is the first appearance of Valeria, and it's a Doctor Doom story as well. Don't quote me on that one, but I'm still seeing a price tag on this one of $120 sold, so that's why it's on the list. Next one is Amazing Spider-Man number 122. Very good copies of this are selling for about $180. And unfortunately, this is the death of the Green Goblin. I wish he would come back. It'd be nice to see him around. But you know what? We have to move on to the next book on the list, because the next one is DC Comics Presents number 26. Very fine copies of this are selling for $110. This is the first appearance of Teen Titans in the book. That's pretty awesome. Wouldn't mind having that one. And speaking of Teen Titans, the very last book on our list is New Teen Titans number 2. High grade copies of this are selling for $130, and this is the first appearance of Deathstroke, a lot of people's favorite villain slash anti-hero character. This is his first appearance, and well worth the $130. Alright everybody, so that's all 50 books on our list. How many did you have? Did you have more than one? Did you have more than two? If you had more than two, then you had more than what I had, because that's what I had, only two. But let me tell you guys, the running tally, if you had all these books in your collection at the grades we mentioned, if you had all 50 of these books, you'd be sitting at $6,948, a nice chunk of change for some great comic books. Alright everybody, hopefully you enjoyed this video. We're going to be doing more. Like I said, leave the comment down below. Let us know how many you had, and let me know another dollar amount you'd like us to focus on. We've done $50, $100, $1,000. Would you like us to do $10,000, or maybe even just $1? Should be fun. Alright everybody, don't forget to like and subscribe. You know what to do. I'll see you next time. Bye.